Hi, Joe for GoonerTube, and I'm joined today by Mario over there in Jamaica and Dawse, who's not in Jamaica, who's in North London, a bit like myself. Yeah. We do wish, actually, Dawse, because Mario told me the temperature there at the moment. And to be honest, we're not going to ponder on that because it just makes me very, very jealous and a little bit down about the situation, knowing how cold it is here in London. So we will move swiftly on. But thanks for joining me, guys. And we're going to talk very briefly about the away match against Leeds today, the one that ended 0-0. And you know, we've all got opinions on how the game went, and we'll touch on a few of the moments in the game, of which there weren't that many for us, but we will touch on them. So, Mario, I'll start with you, mate. What was your overall feeling about the game and the way it was set up? And because we were talking about the setup and how you wanted, or how you would have set the team up. So, how different was it from what you thought, and what do you think of Arteta's setup?
I did not see Maitland-Niles, but I did get the opportunity to see Joe Willock in the central attacking midfield position, so that is a plus. And he actually did play well. But initially, the setup of the team was okay with me, and the formation, as I said before, was actually the formation I wanted to see, because it would be actually the base formation right now to trying to move into the more dominant positional-based team in which we should be, but at this particular time, it's a building process. So I'm not really complaining at this moment. But your prediction was right.
Okay, so the formation was right, but obviously the result. How do you feel about the final result? Do you think we got away with it slightly?
I said, remember what I said? My head was telling me 1-1, but my heart was saying 2-1. So. Due to the context of the game, I would say I'm okay with the result.
Okay, Dawse, what you know, you're obviously a little bit disappointed that we didn't come away with 3 points, but do you think, in the grand scheme of things, a point was well earned today, or we were lucky to get it, or what?
Well, our best player was their goal frame, wasn't it? I think he kept it out 4 times, didn't he? I think I lost count in the end, but. Yeah. Especially, listen, after Pepe opening his mouth and saying he wants more game time, he shot himself right in the foot there today, didn't he? You take a point all day long straight. As soon as you go down to 10 men, you just hang on. But then again, when with the 10 men, I actually thought we played better. You know, counter-attacking football. I thought Saka had a chance, which he almost rounded the keeper, which I thought he should have just taken a little bit earlier, maybe. But grand scheme of things, take a point, got lucky, I think. So,
I think we did get lucky. I mean, I watching it just like everybody else was watching it, and to be honest, I don't know if did anybody know where the goal was coming from. If we did, I mean, the Saka chance was the best chance we had. Apart from that.
It was nothing again. I know everyone's sort of half saying for Aubameyang down the middle, but even with him down the middle, we're just missing that someone in the pocket just to find space for him.
Yeah.
You know, but just frustrating all of a sudden. Just frustrating watching.
I mean, we were missing 2 key players today in Partey and El Neni. And I think it probably would have been a different situation in midfield if we'd have had those 2 players in. It's ironic that we're now talking about El Neni as a key player, or I am at least. But you know, he's earned his spot in that team now, hasn't he? And it's just a shame that they were both out, because I think it could have been fairly different. Mario, what do you think?
I do agree with what you're saying. Because what we realized today was that the midfield was really flat. Was extremely flat, and you could hardly see Granit Xhaka in the entire game. At one point, I didn't even remember that he was playing. I saw Dennis Ceballos really trying hard to get himself involved, but the midfield was extremely flat. And I thought that what I saw Joe Willock did was each time we were under pressure, he would retrieve the ball and drive out of the defense and ease some pressure on the defense. And I said that before in the preview show, and I thought that the midfield was actually or massive our biggest problem today because we're unable to retain the ball and recycle it. So that was a massive problem. Through my entire watch along, all I was saying was retention and recycle, and that is how you retain possession. You realize how Chelsea play football. What they do is the two players that have the most touch on the field is would be Zuma or Thiago or whoever with the centre back pairing are, because what they do is they use those two persons to retain the ball and keep possession of the ball. And what that does is frustrate the opponent and also tire their legs out. So within 30 minutes of the game, that gap starts to open up because they are becoming weary, and then you can break them down. But at this point in time, our midfield cannot do that. So I think that the midfield combination is the midfield area is our weakest point, and that is where we're suffering.
I mean, it speaks volumes, doesn't it, when your best player on the pitch is probably Bernd Leno, Dawse, and you know, I mean, what does it say about the way that he had a very good game today? And of course, like you say, the both posts and the bar had a great game today as well for us. And I did mention the bloke who's got to go and clean the posts and the bar must be pretty pissed off because he's going to have to take extra cleaning equipment to go and do that for our goal at least. But yeah, I mean, you know, what do you see? What's the, you know, we saw how frustrating things are, and we saw how in the interview afterwards how frustrated Arteta was as well. And we'll come on to the Pepe thing, but I mean, how frustrated was you? How frustrated was you watching
it? I was extremely frustrated. What was that?
Go on, Mario. I mean, I'm just talking about the frustrating side of things. You know, how frustrated were you as you know, both of you as supporters watching that game today? I mean, did you feel a sense of frustration, but thinking, okay, this is the way forward, or frustration as in, do we seem to be any different to what we played against Aston Villa?
I was extremely frustrated. Well, we actually played much better than we played against Aston Villa, which was basically in the first half, though. Just in the first half, though. Because if that was Aston Villa today, I think they would have taken a few of those chances that they got. Because they noticed maybe about 4 shots were actually inside our 18-yard box, in which the Sky Rockets, some of them hit them wide. So I'm just saying, if it was Ollie Watkins or Grealish and any one of those, maybe would have been singing our praises because would have been buried already. So I was extremely frustrated, especially the fact that we were unable to retain the ball, and they were putting us so high, and we didn't have any, I would say, any way out or any clue on how to solve the problems. We didn't solve all the issues that were presented to us today, and that was one of the issues that made me so frustrated.
Dawse, your thoughts?
No, I sort of agree, I'll be honest. I didn't expect us to come out and be put on a poor performance, because there's no way Arteta is going to let them go out straight after the Aston Villa game and just sort of like lose every challenge and half-hearted tackles and everything like that. I knew we'd sort of half be up for it, but yeah, again, it's just that final third again. We always seem to say it now. But defensively, I thought we looked quite well. I thought Gabriel again had a good game with Rob Holding. Danny Ceballos worked his socks off again. I was quite pleased to see Joe Willock, actually. I thought he'd done well, but I thought he looked a bit nervous at times. He could have given the ball a bit earlier than sometimes, you know, rather than just try and keep hold of it. But listen, he's still young, he'll learn. But it's good to see. You just want more. That's all you want.
I think he looked a little bit disappointed with himself when he came off the pitch, Willock. You could sort of see the frustration in his face. Maybe he was just generally frustrated with the way that the things had been going anyway, and the fact that we hadn't been able to penetrate as much as we'd like to. And as you pointed out, Mario, that, you know, the amount of shots that Leeds had, if that had been maybe a more confident and a better, more established Premier League side, they might have scored at least 1 or 2 of those goals. And if it hadn't been for the post and the bar, you know, then it could have been very, very different. And while we're talking about frustrating, let's talk about Pepe for a minute. The most unlikely headbutter on the team, although it wasn't really a headbutt. It was just a moving your head forward and the other guy going down like a sack of potatoes, holding his face, trying to get a man sent off. Now, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing to do or a good thing to do. Whatever way you look at it, depends who you're playing for. But bottom line is Pepe shouldn't have done it. He shouldn't have got involved, and he's ultimately, I wouldn't say cost the team, because I think the result would have probably been the same, but it could have been different if he'd have stayed on the pitch. We could have had an extra attacking man, and when that goal opportunity came up, it could have been him instead of Saka. So it was a very silly thing to do.
You just don't know what was going through his mind. Of all, you have your frustrations and all that, but you know there's going to be VAR. So whatever you're doing, first of all, for even to walk up and put your head into it, you know straight away you're just going to be walking straight off down the tunnel. Why even stood on the pitch and wait for the referee to go even go and have a look is just pointless, isn't it? Really, I don't even think Arteta rates him. I'll be honest. I think he's actually given a bit of game time, but I don't think if Arteta was in charge a year ago or whenever he was signed, I don't think he would have signed him. He just don't seem to be.
Oh, I agree.
An Arsenal player. He just seems like he's carrying an attitude all the time, and he's still young. I know he's come from the French league and all that, but I'd rather have Zaha. Let's be honest.
Oh, well, I would imagine Lille are probably still dining out on that money.
Cool. But what do you do now? He's out for 3 games. Do you give him another chance when he comes back, or do you just cut your losses and hopefully try and get rid of him in the summer?
Well, I did notice in the first half he was doing an awful lot more running and coming inside and dropping deep. He seemed like he wanted the ball more in the first half, and he seemed like a little bit tougher in the tackle as well. I don't know if Arteta has been working on him and trying to sort of toughen him up slightly, because he is really kind of a real lightweight, isn't he? He sort of gets knocked off the ball really easily, and he sort of takes one too many touches and then gets barged off the ball. But I did notice that he was trying. He was putting a lot of effort in today to try and get involved more and get in amongst the tackles and everything like that, which I can understand if that's what Arteta's doing with him. But it's still a situation where he's
he's let the team down. That's the thing. He's let the team down. Like I said earlier, he's gone away and moaned about not being given a chance. He's given a chance, and he's just thrown it straight back in our faces. Let's be honest. Yeah. He's had a little tangle with a fella, which you normally do in football. Why just leave it alone? Carry on.
Yeah. I mean, he like I said, the guy goaded him. It seemed like they were on a bit of the wind up today. Anyway, I mean, we could see at the end with Tierney being wound up.
I think he was actually pulling him up about that. Wasn't he? Going down holding his face. I think that was the same fella, wasn't it?
I think it probably was. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I mean, I know he'd been winding Tierney up, whether he'd said something personal or whether he just
was that?
Yeah, there was something else in there, but you could see what it meant to Tierney, and that brings me on to the subject. And I'll ask you, Mario, why Aubameyang really is still captain. Would it not make more sense to make someone like Tierney the captain of this team?
Yes. I would say he's a Arsenal type captain, Kieran Tierney. But I think the reason why Aubameyang is the captain is because we all know the contract negotiation is, and we have to factor in as well that he was one of the person that actually kept us away from relegation last season, so he rightly deserved that. He's the type of captain that captains the team by performance. Just as he's not the type of person to talk or to do things. But I'm not too fancy in regards to who the captain is. I want the team to be working and organized. I want the team to be disciplined and highly concentrated, because I want the best from them. And the only way you can produce the best is if everyone is on point with their game. And I know something that Daniel Ceballos, he really had a point to prove today. So he was actually putting in an extra amount of work, getting himself about, throwing himself in tackles. So he was basically there to stamp his identity. And I'm so sorry that I didn't see that from Xhaka as well, because for the entire game I did not saw him do anything noteworthy for me to say he did this, because I'm a person, when I'm watching matches, I normally take my notes, take my jottings when I see certain things, and for the entire game I'm still saying I'm not seeing Xhaka presenting himself as an extra outlet. I think that also maybe because of how Mikel Arteta actually deployed him in previous game, where he was playing as an extra centre-back. on the left side in support of Tierney when Tierney would advance forward. So I think that because now he has to play in a position where he has to stick inside the middle, I think he would generally have to try to adapt to that game style again. So maybe that could be the purpose, but I'm not giving any one of these players any excuses for their lousy playing style of play.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, so going on the next couple of games, we've got Mulder on Thursday, and then we're up against. It's going to be a 6-pointer. If you work out how many points they've got along with us, which is the same, which is Wolves. We're both on 13 points at the moment. So I guess it is a bit of a 6-pointer because we're languishing in the bottom half of the table at the moment. First and foremost, we should take care of Mulder. So let's just move that one aside at the moment. But okay, so Wolves at home. Now we know that Wolves are no fools. They've been playing very, very well. They've got some great players. Dawse, how do you see the game against Wolves going? Do you think he'll change it again, or do you think he's going to kind of just keep sticking with this formula of and see where it goes?
I think personally, I believe that he should stick with it. It's his first time out doing it, and prior to to second half, our Pepe getting the red card, it was basically in accordance to what we all wanted to see in some sense. So that the game was actually end-to-end game from the first whistle blow. We know that it would be an end-to-end game, but I think that he should keep with this system and build on it, and let's see how much we can get out of it, because normally winning games comes through consistency, and you can't have consistency if you keep on chopping and changing.
Dawse, what's your thoughts, mate?
I think you have to go with the same team again, but my concern is will he start Willian again? His second, was it the third game now? I think he's been dreadful again. He got taken off at half time.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, the Wolves Wolves ain't hit the form they were last year, but if you need any team to get you up and running again, along come Arsenal. So I could see us being a bit under the cosh. You can't sort of sit back at home and let Wolves attack us. I know that for a fact. So you've got to go straight out, attack them if possible. But then again, you play Lacazette. Does he come in now because Pepe's out? Does Aubameyang go to the left? Does Willian stay on the right? It's all up in the air again now, isn't it? So
it is.
For me, you just Willian's got to sit on the bench, keep it warm there. Give one of the youngsters a good run out. I think Reece Nelson. I think someone with a bit of pace who can actually get forward with the ball, because Willian for me, just sort of slows everything down. He's not really too direct either, but it's all headache, isn't it?
Well, it all seems rather sort of down and depressing today, doesn't it? I mean, even though we've managed to get ourselves a point and really got away with it at Leeds, I think. But
Leeds let's not kid ourselves. Leeds are a good team. They should have beaten Liverpool, done well against City. So I'm quite happy with the draw. I'll be honest. I'm more surprised we actually kept the clean sheet.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it. The last sort of 15, 20 minutes, I thought that they were going to,
even with 11 men, I would have thought we wouldn't have kept the clean sheet against them. But like I said, you said earlier as well, Leonard, I thought he needs a bit of praise. He pulled off a good couple of saves, didn't he? So
absolutely. So you've got to get, like you say, it's when he's your best player, that's when you've got to worry a little bit, when your best player is your goalkeeper. There's work to do. But thanks for joining me, guys. And no doubt we will talk again at some point. But for now, obviously, we're taking a point and running with it, I think, down from Yorkshire, back down to London. So we will be doing that. And, we've gone from 12 points to 13 points in the league and still on a -1. But, hey, plenty of work to do. And we know Arteta's we believe in this man, and hopefully we can move forward with him. So thanks again, guys. And we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.
Bye.